So today we're going to talk about one of the most important things that we try to communicate to our customers, right, and educate our customers about, which is the NX Witness system architecture. So what we've gone ahead and done is put together a video presentation, which is made up of 16 different videos that you can stack together in the NX Witness client that allows you to see how the system works. Just real quickly, go over the kind of architecture of the architecture. Across the top here, we've got the cloud layer stuff. In the second row here, we've got the thick client applications. And the third row here, we've got the server applications and the web admin application, which is relevant to the server because you need to connect to the server to view the web admin interface. And then below that, we've got the different types of resources that the system can control. So when explaining the architecture, I like to start off with the server application. So the NX server application is really a lightweight media server application that's used to discover and add devices and then manage system resources, right? So in terms of what a system resource is, it's everything that's in the tree. So over here in the software, you can see you've got servers, you've got cameras, you've got layouts, show reels, web pages, users, local files. All those things are managed by the server application. So the server application itself has some kind of key features, right? So if we press play here, you can see it's a cross-platform, so it's available for Microsoft Windows, Ubuntu Linux, and ARM devices. And ultimately, it's responsible for kind of a suite of different stuff. So let me skip through the end here. So device discovery, like we talked about earlier, auto-discovering compatible devices, cameras, IOs, managing connections from clients to the server, to the cloud. Those are the types of connections, camera to server connections. Motion detection analysis, so every single camera that's being streamed in, we do server-side motion detection on those cameras on the low-res stream. Hardware management, so connected NASs, the server itself manages the CPU and the RAM and everything related to the computing device that it's sitting on. And then database management. It manages the SQLite. Every single server has an SQLite database, and they all synchronize in real time, which takes me to my next slide, which is Server Hive. So one of the most important parts of our architecture is this Server Hive architecture. And in the Server Hive architecture, all the servers on a local area network, or if they can see each other over like a wide area network or VPN, will synchronize in real time. And that's important because it synchronizes system configuration information, user information, and it allows for things like automatic camera failover to happen in real time. So the Server Hive is a real key part of the architecture. It also allows you to do things like send an API call to any server in a system in order to generate a system event. So it's a pretty powerful architecture. Let me start that up. All right, so after the server itself, right, the server connects to specific video resources out there. So the types of video resources that NX Witness can handle are IP cameras, encoders, RTSP streams, HTTP streams, UDP streams, and then virtual cameras, which are offline cameras like action cams or your mobile phone, where you can synchronize offline video to the archive. That's a feature available in 4.0. And then we have our video source SDK. And our video source SDK is a C++ SDK that allows you to integrate any third-party NVRs or DVRs, but also, third-party archive video, or even potentially other types of devices that have IOs and videos on them. So that's the video resources. From a control resource point of view, the server allows you to connect to different types of control resources like joysticks. The Axis joystick can be used to control PTZ cameras. I/O devices, again, Axis P8221 and Advantech IOs will be automatically discovered and be programmable in the system. URLs and websites, we have our web pages resources over here. So if you grab like our home page for our website, then you can go in and use it as a browser, right? So web pages is a resource that gets stored by the server. And audio in and out. So on the client itself, you can do things like set up events that trigger audio but also audio devices like the Axis speaker can be integrated as well. And then finally, the video source SDK, just like it can be used to integrate third-party video sources, can also be used to integrate third-party I/O devices. So that's control resources. In terms of storage, the server, once it goes out and it finds cameras and you have the licensing, now you can start to record it. We record to local drives, so HDDs, hard drives, standard or SSDs, SD cards, basically any type of storage. Also can write to Samba NASs. So one of the things is the server can add a Samba NAS as a local storage path in the server settings. So any Samba NAS can be used as a archive location as well. In terms of controlling the system, okay, so now you got the servers installed and they're going out and they're finding the cameras and the control resources, they're managing the storage. You need to be able to log in and see the system and control the system. So the desktop client, which is what I'm using right now, is a thick client, rich media browser, with the ability to, with a flexible grid interface, which you guys have seen because of the layout here, and it's designed for connecting to and viewing and managing systems, right? It's available on Microsoft Windows, Ubuntu Linux, and Mac OS X, and its main functionality is viewing video, controlling devices, smart search. So if you're not familiar with smart search, the ability to highlight specific pixels and look for motion, or once the metadata SDK has been published with 4.0, we're going to have some plugins that allow you to search like based off of objects that are detected, which is pretty cool. It allows you to manage the system configuration, so all the devices that are connected to the storage locations, kind of all that information, and manage users as well. It's really a full-featured application, and it can be used in several different ways, right? So one way is the connected client, which is what you're looking at right now, right? Another way is video wall mode. And video wall mode basically allows you to install the client on a computer, and then put it into video wall mode, and it will become a slave monitor for the rest of the system. So you can push and pull, or sorry, you can push video up there, and you can change the layout remotely. And that's one of the features of the server hive architecture as well, is the ability to kind of change layouts in the system instantly, and video wall is a result of that capability. Other things you can do is go into offline mode and just play video. So you could search your past clips that you've exported from a system, or you could even import your movie library on a trip and watch movies on an airplane. I don't know, but basically it's a media player mode, great for like presentations, and even for like connected retail, the ability to put up advertisements for people in a system without having to buy a third-party software. So if you've got our system installed at a retail location, you could also use the video wall mode to actually display video around the store that you want to have for advertisements in conjunction with, for example, live video, so people know they're being watched. And the final mode would be screen recording. So in the software itself, you have the ability to go in to the local settings in the desktop client and set up a screen recording. And screen recording allows you to configure, which screen you record, what the resolution of the recording will be, and then what the quality of the recording will be. It also allows you to do things like disable arrow windows to improve performance and capture the cursor or ignore the cursor, right? So that's the desktop. Mobile. Mobile app is really a kind of quick glance tool into a system, right? And so as a result, it's really focused on viewing video, live or recorded from your system, and also controlling devices remotely. So we have soft triggers now in the mobile app. You can do PTZ control, you can do fish ID warping. It's a lightweight client for iOS and Android devices that basically gives you insight on the go into your system, right? All right. So that's the kind of thick client part of the system. The final part of it would be like the cloud layer, right? So starting off with the cloud, the cloud application itself is pretty simple. It's a public cloud application. That means it's built and available on the internet. So it's a public cloud application that's really built for simple, fast, and reliable remote connectivity to your systems, and also management of who has access to those systems right now. At the core of this is what we call our Cloud Connect feature, which is a way to proxy connections via the cloud in the instance that you're not able to connect to them directly. So what happens is the server connects to the cloud and says, "Here I am," right? And then your thick clients also connect to the cloud and say, "Here I am." And then the cloud will say, "Mr. Thick Client, Mr. Desktop, you want to connect to this server, so why don't you try and connect directly using this information?" And then the client will try and do what's called NAT traversal and connect directly to the server to pull video off. And this is like generally the fastest connection if you have a good connection via your ISP. But let's say you're in a different part of the world and you've got to go through several ISPs to get to your system, and it turns out the routing is complex and for some reason you can't connect. No problem. Our cloud application actually will proxy your streams and your data via cloud to your client device. So you don't necessarily have to have a direct connection back to your server. If you can't establish one for some reason, the cloud will proxy that information and deliver it to your client applications. In the cloud itself, we also have the Cloud Admin interface, and the Cloud Admin interface is a browser-based interface that you can connect to from kind of any browser. And in the Cloud Admin interface itself, you're able to do things like view video, manage your connected systems, disconnect them from the cloud or connect them to the cloud, and then manage users. In the upcoming releases, we've got some additional features coming in here. For 4.0, for example, you should be able to merge systems via the cloud. So if you install a server at one location, a system at one location, and then you install another system at another location, you connect them both to cloud, and you decide later on this is the same customer and I want to merge this into one system. In 4.0, cloud will allow you to do that as well, the Cloud Admin interface. So now the final bit would be the Web Admin interface. So we talked about it briefly earlier. The Web Admin interface is really about connecting to a specific server and to check out that server's settings themselves, right? The Web interface can be accessed from the client by clicking on one of your servers and just saying server web page, and then you'll get a login prompt for the system, which I can't remember my password right now, but that's all right. Let's try again. There you go. So this is the server web admin interface, and then the web admin interface for the server. If you're the system owner or your system administrator, you'll have some additional features that other users won't have. For example, restore factory defaults, detach a system from the cloud, restart the server remotely, change the administration or the owner password. You'll also have the ability to rename the system, merge additional systems to the system, disconnect the system from the cloud, and do things like force encryption or force traffic encryption and communication between the different servers, or force even video traffic encryption between the client and the server application itself. In the server web admin interface, you also have the browser-based client. So in the browser-based client, you get to look at one camera at a time, and you can view live or recorded video, right? The information tab in the server web interface allows you to do things like see health monitoring and storage and logs, and our developer tools are also based in the server web interface. The kind of final tab is a help file, which allows you to go straight to our support system or our system calculator, or even download the mobile apps if you don't have them on hand already. So that's the server web admin interface, and that's pretty much the NX Witness system right there in terms of the components, right? The right side here is all about the development of the system. So kind of the best place to start here would be the server API. And the server API is a full REST API, which is an HTTP API that allows third-party developers to integrate third-party system devices using our REST API. So in the API itself, you have a system API, a video API, an authentication API, a proxy API, and a server API. And all of these slightly different things. Connected to that API, right, in 4.0, we're launching what's called the Metadata SDK. And the Metadata SDK is a C++ SDK that's used to create plugins for integrating third-party intelligent video applications. So the Metadata SDK is really focused on AI and deep learning driven applications that are created to detect objects. License plate recognition, cars, traffic management systems, retail analytics where you're looking at people, identity, emotion, foot traffic, all sorts of stuff, right? So the Metadata SDK allows a developer to do kind of 6 things. One is to get frames, request frames from our video server to analyze. Once the third-party system has analyzed that information, they can then return us metadata, which will be stored in an object database next to the video, which allows us to do that smart pixel search stuff that you guys are familiar with. It allows the third party to send events to NX Witness. So, for example, let's say they identify a face that's on a blacklist. Well, then they're able to send an event and say this guy or this woman or this dog, if it's like Cujo, is not supposed to be here, right? So they allow us to send events via the metadata SDK. Receive actions and stream real-time data are 2 features that are being developed right now as well. Receiving actions would be like our system can then tell your system to do something. And streaming real-time data would be like for continuous data streams like temperature or humidity. And basically or some robotics solutions allows us to get kind of real-time real data streams and use those to display in the client or use those to trigger specific event rules, right? So that's the metadata SDK. And then the final bit is like our third-party via NX Cloud. For third-party via NX Cloud, you're basically using the same server API as before. We're just changing the structure of the API call to route it via our cloud service. And once you've done kind of use these development tools, and I just realized there's one development tool I didn't talk about, which is our storage SDK. The storage SDK allows companies to integrate kind of non-standard third-party storage solutions like Veracity Cold Store. If you're not familiar with Veracity, Cold Store uses hard disks similar to the way tape drives have been used in the past. They write kind of concentrically to the hard drive itself, and then they shut it down when it's full. And the idea is, you save energy and you also save hard drive life because you're not spinning these drives all the time. So they use the storage SDK, and then there's a plugin that they've created that allows them to integrate that Veracity Cold Store device. So these are all the third-party kind of developer tools, and at the end result is basically you can integrate any kind of connected third-party device or system. This one's third-party local, so the assumption here being the system's running on the same LAN or WAN network, right? So you can do things like integrate traffic management systems or fire and emergency systems. Drones are getting popular right now. Access control, which is a very traditional security technology, but also fleet management, third-party video systems, biometric systems. Basically, you should be able to integrate anything using the set of developer tools that we have out there. So, this is NX Witness. This is our architecture. If there's questions you guys have that I didn't answer, please let us know so we can update the architecture. This is a video architecture. And one of the cool things about this is whether you're an end user or you're a reseller partner of ours or you're just somebody who's trying to understand the system, this information is actually available right now on my.networkoptics.com. So if you go to my.networkoptics.com and you have to sign up if you're not signed up already to log in, then you go here to assets. Then you can see architectures right here, and under the download tab you can download the static images for this presentation. So if you don't want to do video and you just want to have the images are available there. We also have 2 different video packages, one with a white background, which is the one I just showed, and one with a gray background, which is pretty cool looking, but I didn't show it. So you guys are able to download these packages and kind of take a look at the architecture yourself and really understand it. As I said, for us, it's really important that our customers and our partners and our users understand how the system works in general, because that really informs kind of how you'll understand and how to use the system better on a day-to-day basis, but also how to troubleshoot for issues that you may have, or potentially integrate some new third-party system as well. So that's the NX Witness architecture. Thanks a lot, guys. Like I said, let us know if you have any questions in the comments below. Thanks.